Want to win the war against ISIS? Don't kill them, give them jobs. That's the bizarre solution served up by the Obama administration. Take a listen.
We cannot kill our way out of this war. We need, in the longer term, medium and longer term, to go after the root causes that leads people to join these groups, whether it's lack of opportunity for jobs. We can work with countries around the world to help improve their governance. We can help them build their economy so they can have job opportunities for these people. What makes these 17-year-old kids pick up an AK-47 instead of try to start a business?
Wow, jobs. Is that really how to stop Islamic terrorists? Hi, everyone. I'm Eric Bolling. Welcome to Cashin. Our Cashin crew this week: Jonathan Honig, Juan Williams, Monica Crowley, and Lisa Booth. Welcome, everybody. Monica, we're going to start with you. State Department spokesperson Marie Harf wants to give radical Islamists jobs. Maybe she should be out of a job.
Well, we've all been piling on and mocking Marie Harf for that comment, but actually she was just echoing what her boss believes, because the next day this week, President Obama said the exact same thing. This is what you get when you put leftists in charge of national security. You get this kind of indulgence of the victimhood cult. You get this transfer of responsibility that somehow it's our responsibility to remake the economy of the Middle East. Look, you are dealing with a global religious movement, the objective of which is the global domination of Islam. And what the left wants to do, starting with the president, is apparently airlift access to Obamacare, subsidized housing, and job fairs in there, and think that somehow those things are going to make it all go
job
away.
fairs for jihadists. Lisa, is this a good idea? I'm baffled. I'm actually shocked that this is what they're going to do now. Listen, you want to fight terror, and then if you win, you can open up all these different economic opportunity ideas. But right now, is this the best way to fight them?
No, and look, Monica is absolutely right. And look, the only jobs that ISIS needs is digging their own graves. But what we're dealing with is an administration and a president that is dangerously incompetent when it comes to Islamic extremists. This is a president who said that climate change is more dangerous than terrorism. This is a president who's called ISIS JV, despite the fact that they control more territory than the United Kingdom. This is a president who has pointed to Yemen as the beacon of his counterterrorism policies, despite the fact that our U.S. embassy staff just had to evacuate. So that's what we're dealing with, is an incompetent president and a competent administration.
Okay, so I'm going to bring it to you, Juan, but take a look at this cover of the New York Post this week. I mean, if this doesn't say, it speaks for many, many millions of Americans. It's the cover. It says, Islamic terror, I just don't see it. Unfortunately, Juan, we kind of agree with that.
I don't think that has look, that doesn't have anything to do with Marie Harf's comments. I think Marie Harf's comments had to do with getting to the root causes of what's attracting so many young people to get involved with these sadistic, murderous people who hide behind the name Islamic and jihad and all that foolishness. These folks are crazy, and you think, well, what is it? And you understand they have deep grievances. They have a sense of, I think, jealousy over Western progress. They have, of course, troubled economies that are ruled by these mullahs and you know, the royal families that take care of themselves but don't take care of their own people. To me, you've got to get out of the whack-a-mole strategy. One minute you're fighting Al-Qaeda, the next minute you're fighting ISIS, something else pops up.
Right.
You got to find out what's bringing all these people to such a bloody purpose.
Go ahead, John.
But it's not. It's ideas, Juan. It's not. It's not poverty. And, you know, Osama bin Laden and a lot of those 9/11 hijackers were educated. Osama bin Laden was quite wealthy. The 9/11 hijackers had college degrees. So I think to that point, it's the ideas. They hate the secular, successful West, and the only way to counterforce is with force.
Right. And we're agreeing on that. I know, Juan, you're shaking your head, but again, the timing of this really is baffling. Look at what John.
Hold on a second, Eric.
I want to get this in
Eric,
here, though.
I was just going to say to you, we are bombing. We are fighting. We're taking the lead as Americans.
Here's the problem.
Here's the problem. We've launched 800 airstrikes in Syria, but they're not doing their job, because the reality is that now in Syria, ISIS controls over 1/3 of Syria. So the problem is the president.
ISIS
no, it's the truth. It's the truth.
You're making ISIS into a giant. They are not. But I guess you're doing that because you're so interested in beating up Obama.
Part of the problem is, hang on, Lisa. Part of the problem is the left is getting their talking points from the White House, who's telling us this, that we're driving ISIS back. The reality is they're getting more and more territory. The reality is, Juan, we've dropped about 2,300 airstrikes on ISIS in 6 months. In the beginning of the Iraq War, in the first month alone, we dropped 100,000 100,000 sorties. We dropped 88,000 tons of bombs in the first 30 days alone. That's the way you fight terror. Monica, jump in here.
That's what we've been doing.
No, we haven't, Juan. No, we haven't.
You just said it.
Hold on. I'll do the math for you. Sometimes, this is Cashin. We do a lot of math here. 100,000 sorties in 5 weeks comes to 2,000 or 3,000 per day. What we're doing now with ISIS comes to less than 10 per day. Big difference.
What I'm saying is, we've got Jordan, we've got Syria, we are
including them
now with Egypt getting in the fight. We've got lots of people fighting them, and they've been unable to capture Kobani. Remember, you guys thought, oh, they're going to overrun Kobani. Never happened.
Look, our Middle East partners need American leadership, which is not being provided by this administration. They're trying to deflect attention onto unemployment and so on. There's plenty of unemployment around the world, particularly in the Middle East. If that were the cause of global terror, then you would have Christians and Jews and other people unemployed, blowing people up and beheading people. That is not the core issue. The core issue, and it's not just ISIS, it's not just Al-Qaeda, it's not just the Muslim Brotherhood. We are talking about a global religious ideology here that is not going to be dissuaded by, even if we took on the responsibility of trying to transform the economies of the Middle East. We are dealing with something that comes from a religious root, and dealing with a holy war is the most difficult kind of fight that you can possibly have. We have a White House that's not engaged militarily in the way it should, or ideologically or economically in the way it should. They're fighting a war in every way.
John, hang in there 1 second. Let's take a listen to President Obama backing up what Marie Harf said a few days prior to that. Listen.
If we're serious about countering violent extremism, we have to get serious about confronting these economic grievances.
Economic grievances. Go ahead, John.
Well, I mean, it's that really a hate the West first mentality, Eric. I mean, the West should be successful. We should be proud that we have such a successful economy and know that Islamic terrorism is the root cause of why they don't have a successful economy in very many places of the Middle East. But I think, we hit the nail on the head here. It's ideas. It's not poverty that prompt this type of terrorism. And, you don't go to war to provide jobs, to provide a strong economy. You go to eliminate the threat. And that's not just in bombing the individuals, but that's in discrediting their ideas. And if we can't even say the word Islamist, we'll never do that.
Correct. Lisa, I want you to weigh in on this. John Kerry, Secretary of State, wrote an op-ed, and in it he kind of fulfills everything that Marie Harf started, that President Obama followed in. Look at what he said right here. He said, quote, "We must tailor our efforts and target our resources to meet the specific needs of those places. It may be training young people so they can get jobs and envision a future of dignity and self-reliance." Now, Lisa, we're talking about jihadists.
Exactly. We're talking about jihadists, as Monica pointed out, that want the rest of the world to live under Sharia law. And if you don't agree with their beliefs, they will kill you. And we've seen that because we saw them light a Jordanian pilot on fire, execute 21 Christians because they do not agree with their extremist beliefs. And that is what they're being driven by. And it is incredibly scary that we have an administration and a president that is dangerously incompetent with the facts and the realities of what we're facing with ISIS.
Let me ask you this one. Let's just say things were better for all these countries where all these jihadists are coming from. Things were better economically. Do you think, as Lisa points out, that would be okay then? Then they wouldn't look for their caliphate, look to spread Sharia law throughout the whole globe? Because I think that's what the plan is, right?
No, and again, you guys, I think you're enjoying this whole tone of mockery, but the idea is that's one element. The fact that they have bad governance, the fact that they are, as Jonathan pointed out, jealous of Western success, the fact that businesses can't get started there, all of this contributes on top of the fact that they have then wedded onto Islamic ideology.
A little bit of job security will make them
doing this for the profit. These people are crazy, Eric.
Rule the world with Sharia law. Well, guys, I got to leave right there. It's a hot debate. Johnny, I gotta go.
Crazy.
All right. Once again, you've made our new hashtag, Wake Up America, the world's leading topic on cable news, social media. Apparently, we are everywhere, too. Check this out. Real DB for President 16 sent this screenshot from a popular TV show. Here we are, pictured with the ladies of The View. Well, I'm just kidding about the ladies of The View, but we really were the top ranked on Twitter Saturday. That's pretty darn cool. Your turn to sound off. Tweet hashtag Wake Up America and tell us what gets you really fired up. Coming up, Are pro-union protests getting too personal? These activists taking on Republican Governor Scott Walker just swarmed his parents' house. Stick around. Walker responded to Megyn Kelly, and it's completely unexpected.
It's too much, right? It's like these folks have a right to be angry if they don't like the state budget proposals, and they've been controversial. They're going to make cuts to the colleges in Wisconsin. But don't you think it goes too far, whether the politician is a Republican or a Democrat, to go to a person's home?